Good morning. Thank you for staying with us today on Super Talk 1270. It's a free-for-all Friday. I'm Alicia Hegland-Thorpe, and I'm with the Office of Public Information at United Tribes Technical College, and this is United Tribes News Radio. Today, several topics of discussion, and most of them are upcoming events. So you're going to want to get your calendars marked and get ready. We're going to be talking about Tribal Leaders Summit, its importance to the community, what it is, when it is, and why it happens every year. And we'll talk about a very important week in September, the International Powwow on United Tribes campus in Bismarck, how it brings the Bismarck Mandan community together, and how it has done so for the past 46 years. Also, along with the summit and powwow is another major event for softball fans and players alike. It's the United Tribes Legends Softball Tournament, and all that is coming up later in the show. First, we're just going to mention a few things going on. The summer session is underway at United Tribes Technical College, and soon it will be time for fall session. This year, we've added a few more programs to our academic lineup. Human and Social Services, Information and Processing Specialist, Computer Information Technology, and these are all associates of Applied Science degrees. We've also added an Associate of Applied Science degree in our Nutrition and Food Service with a program called Community Health. We've added a Bachelor's of Science degree, bringing our total to 4 bachelor's degrees that we offer at United Tribes. And this is in the Tribal Environmental Science and Research program. For more information on how to enroll in any of these programs or to take a closer look at the programs and deadlines and financial aid and things like that, go to our website at UTTC.edu. There's a plethora of information on there. And just to keep in mind, fall registration happens real soon. We're talking mid-August, and our first day of classes is August 22nd. I want to take a little time to congratulate the United Tribes Technical College Criminal Justice Program for being recognized in the top 3 rankings for top value colleges for their online criminal justice program. These rankings are based upon costs and the amount of graduates. These facts are gathered by the NCES, or the National Center for Educational Statistics, from the College Navigator database. The top 3 were United Tribes, Humphreys College in California, and coming in at number 1 was the University of Central Florida in Orlando. And from looking at the standings, United Tribes is the only tribal college on their rankings. So technically that would make us the number 1 tribal college online criminal justice program. So that's pretty cool. The second annual Summer Youth Camp for ages 13 and 14 will be taking place on United Tribes campus, and this is from July 25th to the 29th, and it's called the Prairie Rose Project Youth Summer Camp. The summer camp is focused on science, technology, recreation, engineering, art, and math, and they're taught by professional educators. It's open to Native American students on reservations, ages 13 and 14, boys and girls, those who are entering the 9th grade. Some things that students did last summer was geocaching. They built Lego robotics, terrariums. They made tribal art and paintings, some calligraphy. Some of the highlights as well, they toured the North Dakota Heritage Museum, as well as the Northern Plains Research Lab. Of course, it was topped off with a trip to Raging Rivers Water Park. You got to have some fun in there, too. So if you think that was fun, wait till you see what's lined up this summer. There is no cost to attend. Also, transportation will be provided to and from the Pine Ridge area, if you're in that area. Meals and lodging are provided. However, it is limited to only 25 students, so applications are now being accepted. So for more information, you can contact Jennifer. Her phone number is 221-1428. That's 221-1428. Or go to our website, uttc.edu, and on the bottom of that homepage, look for news and events. We have an article and information posted about the camp, along with her contact information. And the youth camp is funded by the Prairie Rose Project Demonstration Grant by the Office of Indian Education and from the U.S. Department of Education. Up next, we have some exciting revelations from our Tribal Leaders Summit and Powwow Committee members. And for you softball fans, some exciting additions to the Legends Softball Tournament this fall. That's coming up.
Right now, 61.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on Super Talk 1270.
All right, welcome back to United Tribes News Radio on Super Talk 1270. We have a lot to get into today, and this is only an hour-long show, so we're just going to step right into the thick of it. Joining us now, we have a few guests from United Tribes, each with important roles to play at United Tribes Technical College, but each of them also have key roles to play in developing and coordinating some of these upcoming events that I spoke of earlier in the show, such as the Tribal Leaders Summit, the International Powwow, and we'll be talking about the softball tournament as well. So we'd like to welcome Charisse Fondrick, serving as the Executive Assistant to the President. And also with her today is Sasheen Whitetail Cross, our United Tribes Technical College Event Coordinator. Busy gal. Let's start off with the summit. I mean, this is the 20th year. It's a big celebration. What is the summit? What's the purpose of it? And why is it held in conjunction with these events every year?
Good morning, everyone. The importance of the summit is to bring tribal leaders to Bismarck to talk about important issues that are happening in Indian country that impact us daily through our lifetime. Some of the topics are behavioral health, education, housing, language and culture, transportation, taxation. Those are just some of the topics, but there's many different topics and a lot of different networking happens at the summit. Many different people from all walks of life in Indian country come to Bismarck at this time, and they are able to network with different people from different tribes, but also make some connections on what's working for your tribe. It may work for my tribe, and how can we make those connections to make those things work in our in Indian country.
Mm-hmm. So, and also the communication dynamics. What's, as you said, what's working here? What should we talk about again? What do we need to improve on? Things like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What kind of changes have we seen over the years? I mean, from its early beginnings to midway through, and now we're at the 20th year. What are some things that have been added that kind of have been highlighted? Is there anything that?
Well, this is my first year at the summit, but I was reviewing some pictures and some other things from the past, and it looks like what has grown. It looks like what the summit was maybe 10, 15 years ago is a little room in, I think, Radisson or Ramada Hotel, and that's all it was. And now we have moved it over to the Bismarck Event Center. We have the whole entire ballroom. I don't know how many people attended in the past, but it looked like maybe 100 people, and now we're gearing up for about 700 people. So the growth has really grown, and I think that they have also added like vendors and social hours and
definitely things to keep people occupied.
Yeah,
and have fun. All right. So just tell me a little bit more then, and we're going to talk more about the vendors and things because that is actually pretty exciting, but what does the summit provide for, that the in-between between the Indian country and our Bismarck Mandan community? What kind of role does that play?
Between the summit and the Bismarck Mandan community?
Yeah, I mean...
between the community, it's it brings a lot of people to our community here in Bismarck and Mandan, and they do different things in our community. They spend money here, so it brings economic development to our community of Bismarck Mandan. And there are a lot of Indian businesses in town here too that they are able to network with those and also see what can happen here. They can also happen in Indian country.
Sure, absolutely.
And I would say that part too. I think that piece of it, of the economic development part of it, of what it brings to Bismarck. The weekend, everybody knows when it ends up being powwow, and they might not know a little bit more about the summit, which is nice to be able to let them know that this 2-day event that's happening, which is such a huge another piece. Before in the days before, when you were talking about what did we used to do, we had the powwow, and all of these leaders would come for this powwow, and they'd all have their separate meetings everywhere. So the decision was then to say, okay, let's make this umbrella and have a summit and pull everybody together so that we can take we're doing something better with all of those resources and making sure that everybody's on the same page and we share a lot of the same information. And it's grown so much from then to that. And Bismarck, Mandan, is a piece that ends up benefiting from that. It's not just about the rummage sales.
That's right. Although those are fun too.
Oh, they are fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
But people are here to work and to have fun, so that's right. Now, Sashini, you had talked about some of the topics on the agenda, some of the things that are important to Indian country. Just say a few more of those that we have on the agenda. Some of the topics, I should say.
Okay. Well, besides the topics that we have, we also have people from like the White House giving an update. On those are some very important things that may not trickle down to Indian country. So it's really important that we have a voice from the White House giving an update on what's going on at that level, so that people in Indian country can find out. Some of the other topics are education. We have different panels on pre-K through 12 and post-secondary. We have housing, community health. As we know, there is a huge opiate and heroin epidemic in Indian country, so we have some very important people on these panels. Most of our panels, we have a federal, a state, and a local representative on that panel, so that we can get a good feel on the different areas and how the different areas can help make impact on these topics. What happens after these topics are discussed and everything, we do have a lawyer on site that will be drafting a resolution that will also then go on to the National Congress of American Indians, and National Congress of American Indians lobbies for Indian country. So that's really important for the future of our. This is not just, it's a meeting. It's not just a regular conference. There's actual things happen here, and resolutions are drafted and they're taken to the appropriate places so that changes can make happen in Indian country.
So this is the ground level where those things are discussed and move on.
And one of the things I like to say with that summit, and to give it a comparison so people can understand, like Sashina is saying, how important this meeting is. It's like our mini United Nations. How we would talk about United Nations, because this is all of these nations. When we talk about Indian country, each one of the tribes is each their own separate sovereign nation, their own separate country. Mm-hmm. It's like having Germany and Italy and Ireland all together in one place, and they're come and talk about what's important to them, and how do we figure out a way that we can work together with all of these different countries and see what is the common goal of what we need to be able to fix and make better for us. And then when she talks about those resolutions, those are like the laws that they want to be able to see passed, or things that'll be changed, that'll goes to the federal level, that'll go to Washington, D.C., and they lobby for those things to be able to say, okay, let's have that change, because that's what we need.
Yeah. This is where that starts. That's really exciting. Mm-hmm. Another exciting thing, though, too, is we, as you said earlier, more vendors are coming on board. And why is the vendors such a draw for people, do you think?
Well, I also give something for them to do in between sessions, but also it's a good way for. And I've been telling people it's a way for if you want to do business in Indian country, or do you want to vamp up what you have been doing, this is a place to be, because everyone who makes decisions in Indian country will be at this summit, and making those contacts and getting those business connections will affect what you do in Indian country. We have various different walks of life for the vendors. We have different departments and programs from Indian country. We have local Bismarck Mandan or state local. Engineering companies, architects, archaeologists. We have. So
we're not just seeing art and sculptures and paint. We're seeing
art.
This is business.
It's business, but there are art vendors. There's all kinds of things, and it's also a great way to, like I've been telling those tribal programs that have really great. There's several tribes that have really awesome tourism programs, to come and highlight your program. Be a vendor so that other tribes can see what you're doing, and they can kind of model after what you're doing. It's a great way to network and get more information out there for the public.
What are the dates of the summit now?
September 6th to the 8th. We start on Tuesday at noon.
And this is at the
Bismarck Event Center.
Okay. And then if someone wanted to get involved either as a vendor or to register, how can they do that?
They can go on our website, which is www.summit.uttc.edu. Once again, that's www.summit.uttc.edu, or they can call me directly, which is my phone number is 701-221-1796.
Okay, and we'll have that information available also on our website, your phone number and your email as well. Let's transition into the powwow, because we've got the summit and the powwow. They're going on at the same time, and this is the 47th year of the International Powwow. 47 years.
Can you believe that?
No.
That's crazy that it's been going that
But
long.
you know, when you think about it, in 3 more years, that 50th is going to be a big one.
Stay tuned.
So let's talk about the early beginnings of, Charisse, with your experience and, how the powwows, how they've kind of progressed over the years, and what's kind of the beginnings of the progression of from then to like the 40 now
For
we're
where we're at
yeah
now, to be
that's
that.
what I'm
You know,
trying to
and
say.
And there's a lot of different things, and when you're looking at powwows, and when you want to go back home and you're going to go to the powwow, a lot of them, it's like a family reunion.
Yes.
Everybody gets together and you have a good time and you dance and you listen to music, and it's great. And it has evolved, I think, for what you see now, and for ours, and our particular one, it is a competition powwow. I mean, they come here, they come from all over the place, and they're competing, for grand prize money that ends up being there. So when we are the home of the champions, and these are people that have been going powwowing all summer long, and we're one of the last powwows at the end of the season, and so it's that one last chance to be able to come on in and say, okay, let's see what we can do for this one before the season and the snow starts flying again.
Hush, we don't want to talk about that right now.
No.
So when it comes to an agenda of sorts, Sasheen, what do we have lined up?
For grand entries, which is the time that a majority of people will come, because all the different dancers will be lined up and coming out during this grand entry time. So on Friday, it starts at 1 p.m. and again at 7 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. and again at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m.
And the difference then between this year and last year, there's a couple of different changes, right?
Yes, we no longer have a grand entry on Thursday night. We're starting right away on Friday at 1 p.m. In the past, we started a grand entry on Thursday night, but we took that away.
Okay. And then the other thing that we're not doing this year is a
parade. And what we just took our suggestions from the actual dancers that are dancing during the weekend, and a lot of them are students, are school students, and getting out of school on that Thursday and coming, we don't want that to be happening. But also with the parade, there's no parade. Trying to stay up until Friday night until the end of the last session, and then having to wake up in the morning and be at the parade at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then trying to rush back and get back on campus at 1 p.m. and be ready at 1 p.m. for that grand entry has been a struggle for them. So we decided not to have the parade for our dancers.
So it makes it more convenient, for
Yes.
sure, and gets everybody more prepared. Well, we've got more to talk about for the 47th Annual International Powwow at United Tribes, and we'll talk more about that after the break.
Right now, 61.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
And welcome back. We are United Tribes News Radio, and today we have quite a few subjects that we're talking about today. We talked about the Tribal Leaders Summit, and now we're on to the topic of the International Powwow. And there's just so much to talk about there that we didn't finish it in the last segment. So let's kind of pick it up. If someone has never attended the powwow before, Charisse, what are they going to see?
Wow, if you've never attended and you wanted to be able to come out, you certainly can. And I know that there's a lot of our community that live here and they know about it and have never been out there. And so it is open to the public. Everybody is welcome to it. It's not just for our Indian country. It's for everybody. It's our piece that we want to do for the community. It's something that United Tribes Technical College wants to be able to say, here's our time to be able to share our culture with you and for you to be able to come in and be a part of what we do. So you are more than welcome to come and share time with us.
And we're just going to mention those dates again so people can mark them on their calendar. This
Yes.
is September 9th, 10th, and 11th.
11th. And again, 3 days. We're not doing it on Thursday night. So if you ever came on Thursday night, stay home, barbecue at home, and then Friday, come and see us on Friday. We have the 2 grand entries on Friday, 2 grand entries on Saturday, and then the one on Sunday. You're welcome to come all day long. I would say, bring your sunscreen and a chair, a lawn chair for you, so that you have place and a blanket because it cools off pretty quick in the evenings. And come out and you'll be able to see dancing. We have all of the different categories that happen throughout the day. And again, like I said, it's competition. So it's winding down from everybody dancing and they narrow it down. And then on Sunday, you're going to see everybody that's vying for the top slots, And then when you want to take a little bit of time in between, you can walk around the circle, and right within that circle there, we have all of our vendors that are wrapped around there. So the vendors are all different types of things. So they arts and crafts. You have a lot of vendors that are going to be there with things for the kids to be able to buy if they want to, right up to the serious person who's looking to, to be able to find beads and whatever they need to be able to put their next outfit together.
And these aren't just local vendors either.
Oh, no,
these are people that come from around the country.
They come from all over the country. They follow the powwow circuit, and so they know they have exactly what everybody's looking for. And if you're looking for something that you want from that native culture and you're looking for something that way, I mean, there's a lot of jewelry. I love the jewelry. I mean, I think I get a piece every year just to say that I did. Yeah.
One of the other things then that people will see, besides the vendors and the food.
There are food vendors.
There's
yes.
two significant feeds that we're offering.
There are, and we have one on Saturday. So there's going to be a barbecue feed that is actually sponsored by 3 affiliated tribes, and it's about 4:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, and that'll be right there on campus. And then on Sunday, we always do a free buffalo feed, and that's around 4:00 on Sunday. That kind of winds things down for the whole weekend.
I think I asked you this the other day. How much food is a buffalo? I mean, gosh,
there's
how
about
many
800
people?
pounds. 800 pounds of buffalo. So that's a lot of buffalo.
So we have enough to feed you. So come on out.
We do, and corn on the cob that comes with that. So it's good. It's always a good meal.
Typically, do you see a lot of people that stick around and stay for the food?
Yes. We have always run out. So it's good. It's good. Everybody goes right over there for that time. Hey, if you're there for the day, it's like you work up an appetite, and it's great to be able to go over there and be able to have that. And it's free. So even with that, and we have the vendors. We have 13 vendors with food, so you have a wide variety of different kinds of food to be able to have for that day.
Sure.
So yeah, we always have a
Come
little bit of
hungry.
something. Absolutely, come hungry. We'll always feed you.
Let's talk then the significance of what this powwow has on our community. Then there's an economic impact that that has been measured in
Oh,
the millions.
absolutely. And we have, right now, when we looked at last year, it was close to $2 million is the economic impact of that, just the weekend alone, and when we talked about the summit earlier. So we're looking at the whole week. This is Powwow Week that happens, and the amount of people that we bring in, whether the summit, you're looking anywhere from 400 to 700 people that come in for the summit, and the powwow is thousands, that are there that come from that. And what's cool about the powwow is that we get people that come from all over the world. We have some people we were just talking to the other day that's coming from Germany specifically to come to the powwow. So we're excited about things like that too.
Yeah. So we're talking about the impact. We're talking about the hotel rooms. We're talking about the restaurants.
Every restaurant that you want to be able to go out there. It's kind of like when you think about that. We just got done with McQuaid's, and we'll be talking softball in a little while ago. You know what that is, and then what that brings to our community. So for our hotels and our restaurants and our businesses, the mall, anybody, just about every business in town is affected and positively by what we bring to the community.
Right. Another positive thing then that we can touch base on is Youth Day. Now that's something that's been around for a while, right?
It has.
We focus on our youth.
We have, and that it's, again, because of what we do with the powwow, and it's part of our education of wanting to be able to take that time to share our culture and be able to have people understand it so that we're all better for that. Youth Day came out of that, and part of that has been bringing in the youth of our community. So they picked a grade, and it's 4th grade, and so all of Bismarck and Mandan, all of the schools are invited, and so all of the kids within that 4th grade class everywhere is what comes out there. So this happens on Friday at, I think it's
11.
11 o'clock. We're going a little later this year and doing a little bit different than what we've done in the past with it, but they still come out there. They get to see dancers. They get a little preview of what the powwow is about and what the culture is all about. So it's an educational piece for sure. And then those kids are able to come back out to the powwow later if they want to and bring their family. And, it's a great educational tool for us.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for years. So a lot of those teachers and those kids that are in the fourth grade are probably all grown up and bringing their kids now.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Tell us then, how can, if someone wants to be involved, whether it's a vendor or being a sponsor, Sasheen, how can a person get involved?
Once again, contact myself, and my phone number is 701-221-1796, or you can email me scross scross@uttc.edu, or visit our United Tribes Powwow website. It's www.unitedtribespowwow.com.
And that's a live website, so that has all the information about
Yes.
registration and vendors.
And that's also all linked to our college website, which is just uttc.edu.
That's
So
right.
if you go there, it'll link you right up to all of that information.
And before we move into our softball tournament talk, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to mention and thank your sponsors for the summit and then also for the powwow.
Yeah, some of our sponsors are Valor Insurance, Tesoro, Kirkwood Bank and Trust, Bismarck Banda and CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, Bank of North Dakota, the BNSF, and KLJ, and we want to thank them all for being sponsors to the Summit and Powwow. And if you would like to be a sponsor to either the Powwow or Summit, once again, get in contact with me, and we're more than happy to send you the information or meet with you on a one-to-one basis.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Charisse. And thank you so much, Sasheen, for being on our show today and informing our listeners of some wonderful events. Again, we want to invite everybody out to the Powwow Circle. That's September 9th through the 11th, right here in Bismarck in the Lone Star Arena on the campus of United Tribes. It's the 47th Annual International Powwow. You know, we should probably mention to you, there is a slight fee for a one-day pass is $10. A weekend pass is $20. For our 65 and older, we're looking at
Free and 5 and
oh, it's free for 65 and older and 5 years of age or younger. So there are this information is also available on our website as well.
Call early to get a discount.
Call early and get that discount. That's right. Thank you so much for being a part of our show today, ladies. And now we're going to welcome the myth behind the legends. Today on our show, we're talking with Steve Shepard, and we're also talking with Melvin Miner. And they, besides the duties that they have at United Tribes Technical College, they're also part of the softball tournament. Now, what is the Legend Softball Tournament?
The Legend Softball Tournament is an additional event that we host United Tribes Technical College during the time of the powwow. Just like most of our events that we host during that time, we try to promote wellness at the college, and that is an opportunity for us to get some more people to come in and from around the region, the state, in the Midwest, really.
And this has been going on a while then. This is in its 40, what year? 40?
Approximately the 47th year.
Look at that. That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. And this gets bigger and bigger every year. So we started out with maybe just a few teams, and now we're hoping to get how many teams?
Right now we're well over 70 teams, and we're hoping to 80, 90.
Okay, and this is 3 days, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th of September, right?
That's correct.
So we're ending the softball season with a bang, so to speak, right?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. And then one of the things that's new then this year is it's called a 3-win guarantee. Is that right?
It's a 3-game
Three-game
guarantee.
guarantee.
3-game guarantee is not necessarily on the winning side of it. It's for those who actually lose their first 2 games, so they can at least get guaranteed a 3rd game.
Yeah.
And for what they pay, and some of these teams, they travel a long ways away. We try to accommodate them with another game.
Sure.
To make it worth their
Well,
while.
yeah, absolutely. How does someone get involved, or how can they? Let's talk about your website. You said it's live now.
Yeah, it's softball.uttc.edu. all the information you need, registration forms, rosters, everything you need, the agenda, as well as our contact information is on that website.
Or they can call you.
Or they can call me, 701-226-3987.
Okay. And then we also looking for volunteers, too. And what are we looking for volunteers for? Just people to be at the gates and take tickets and...
We have a souvenir shack to purchase souvenirs, T-shirts, hats, hoodies.
These are big sellers, I bet.
They are huge sellers, as well as gate.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for being on the show today. Again, if you want to get involved with our softball, the Legend Softball, it's softball.uttc.edu. This takes place the 9th through the 11th. Your sponsors?
Our sponsors, some of our sponsors, they're still coming in. And some of our sponsors are Rester Siding and Glass, C&H Glass, Man Signs Capital Credit Union, One Roofing Services, Four Bears Casino, Bruno's Pizza, Fireside, and ABM so far.
And they're coming in.
They're coming in.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show today, gentlemen. And we'll be back after the break.
Right now, 63.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to Free for All Friday on Super Talk 1270. I'm your host, Alicia Hegland-Thorpe. I'm with the Office of Public Information at United Tribes Technical College, and this is United Tribes News. Before the break, we were talking about the Legend Softball Tournament, and there's a few points that we missed, unfortunately, but we have Steve Shepard back and Melvin Miner who want to talk a little bit more about what to expect this year, who can be involved, and some of the deadlines. Let's talk a little bit about that. Where does everything take place at?
Everything takes place at the Clem Kelly Softball Complex here in South Bismarck. Those days are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What you can expect during this tournament is we have a home run hitting contest. We have a live DJ. We have first, second, and third place awards as well as individual awards. And we do have a Hall of Fame class this year again. We have 4 individuals, Margaret Gates, the late Bill Helper, Mark LaFontaine, and Judy Fontaine is this year's Hall of Fame inductees. And we will be having a ceremony on Saturday for them.
I do want to add that to that home run hitting contest. It's for men and women. There's 2 different ones, so it's a pretty good time.
Okay.
And we do have 8 divisions during this tournament.
Okay, and is that normal? Is that typical?
It is for these bigger tournaments. For the teams that we have, we do have 8 divisions, and that kind of ties in with who's all involved into this tournament. The misconception with our tournament is it is a Native American only tournament, which it is not. We do service, just like the college, service non-Native Americans, and that's what we want to do with the college as well. So we do have 8 divisions. There's open divisions for Rec 2, 3, 4, as well as D and Men's C divisions and women's. So this tournament is not just an all-Native tournament. It is open to anybody, and we encourage anybody and everybody to show up and play and have a good time.
Great point to make. Great point to make. Thank you. Deadlines to register.
The deadline to register is September 6th at 3 p.m. We're taking teams all the way up till then. Registration fees, registration forms, which you could find at softball.uttc.edu.
Right, that's where all of our information is, and it's the last part of the year, and it's going to be the last. We're just wrapping it up, and that's why you're doing it at that particular time. And
one last tournament before it gets cold.
Right, before they have to put those cleats away. All right, thank you guys for being a part of our show today. And you know what? We'll probably talk more about this when we get closer to the time frame. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joining me now is Mara Ibora from our Land Grant Extension Nutrition Office. She's an educator with that department. Thank you for being on our show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. We have about 6-7 minutes or so. Tell us what got you inspired to get into the health side of things and how you got to United Tribes.
Yeah, I've always been into nutrition ever since high school. And so that's when I decided I wanted to be a dietitian. I just graduated from NDSU in 2015 and lucky enough to get hired out at United Tribes Technical College where I interned. So I got a little experience here for about 8 weeks, and I just fell in love with the place. And then they hired me the following fall, which was awesome. I just love nutrition because I can help other people, help myself, help my family. And it's really interesting field that's always evolving and always changing. So kind of to stay up with the times and know the good information that's out there.
Because there's so much information out there, and it's not always the right information, as you and I had a conversation about this before. So it's good to have the reliable source on our show today. So thank you for coming. So we have a big weekend. It's the 4th of July celebration weekend, and you want to touch base on safety, health, and
absolutely.
eat good.
I definitely think that 4th of July is our favorite, or a lot of people's favorite holiday. I know it's my favorite holiday. It's the peak of summer. People are, at the lake. They're having picnics. They're with friends and family. And of course, there is tons of food involved, whether it is potato salad, burgers on the grill, steaks, and whatnot. Definitely food is a big part. But I think something that people forget is food safety and making sure we are serving our food, that it's healthy for everyone to eat. With 1 in 6 Americans getting food poisoning every year, and this is people, some of them are undocumented. A lot of times people get food poisoning and they think it's the flu. So, they don't even know if it is food poisoning.
Good point.
I mean, people can get sick with food poisoning 1 hour to 6 weeks after they eat something.
You're kidding.
So how do they even know, what they ate, what caused them to get sick? So a lot of people don't even think of it as being food poisoning. They just think of it, it's the flu, they're ill, definitely not something they ate. Oh. Or they get sick 6 weeks after an incident and they think it's the last meal they ate, which, sometimes is not the case. But
wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah, so we definitely want to make sure we are serving safe, healthy food to our friends and family. Because you don't know who is a high risk for getting foodborne illnesses, especially people with weaker immune systems like kids, elderly, if someone's dealing with an illness or is pregnant. Right. And you don't know if you're serving a group or if someone falls in that category. So we want to make sure all of our food that we are serving is safe.
So what tips do you have for us?
So the 4 things I like to cover is clean, separate, cook, and chill. So those 4 things, and you remember that while you're cooking, and you'll make sure to serve healthy food that no one's going to get sick off. Because that would be the worst. Someone goes, I think it was your potato salad that sat out. That would be the absolute worst. So when you think about cleaning, definitely washing your hands, but sometimes when you go to a picnic or you're on the beach, there's no sink, there's no soap, there's no towels. Mm-hmm. So either bringing, to a little extreme, a jug of water and your own soap and a towel, if you really want to go that route, or just bringing disposable hand wipes, cleaning things down, cleaning the picnic table. You don't know who sat there beforehand, so making sure you're wiping the picnic table.
Or even using tablecloths.
Bring in a tablecloth. That's excellent point. Mm-hmm. And the grill, making sure you're cooking, heat up the grill, cook it off, and cook off that old char from whoever grilled beforehand if you're using a public grill.
Yummy.
And then, right? And then washing your produce before you pack it in the cooler. Just wash it, even if you are planning on peeling it, just making sure you're washing it with plain running water before packing it away. And then we want to think about separating. A good tip I like to think of is having 2 separate coolers, one for your beverages and one for your food. Because when you have a cooler of beverages, you're drinking throughout the event, throughout the whole picnic. So you're constantly opening that cooler. Mm-hmm. And if you had food in there, that's going to get warmer faster, which we want to keep our food cold until we're cooking it. So having the 2 separate coolers, and when you are packing that cooler, make sure you are packing your meat on the bottom and then layering the food on top, because you don't want the juices from the meat contaminating all of your food.
Good point.
And then when we go into cooking, making sure we are cooking all of our food safely, cooking our steaks to 145 a minimum temperature. Our ground meats, our hamburgers are cooking to 155.
But do people really bring their meat thermometers out?
They should. Everyone should. It is definitely important, because don't rely on looks. The color is not an indicator of doneness. So making sure that thermometer should be your best friend. Bring it with you. You can get them for $3 to $5 at any place you can get.
That's true.
Kitchen.
They're inexpensive, and it's worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep people safe. A big thing I also want to point out is make sure you have a separate platter for your food. Whether it's when you're putting the raw hamburger on a platter and then you cook it and you grill it, and then a lot of people put that cooked hamburger back on the platter.
No.
They don't think to bring another platter. So making sure you're bringing a clean one, because that is cross-contamination 101 right there, and definitely ways to get people sick. And then the last but not least, quickly, we're chilling, making sure we're keeping food out for no longer than 2 hours, and if it's 90 degrees or higher, that brings it down to 1 hour or less.
Put that potato salad away.
Exactly. Keep it in the cooler. Keep it on an ice bath. Do small batches and bring it out as you need to. But keep your friends and family safe, and don't give anyone a foodborne illness. That would be a big bummer on the weekend for them.
Not a fun way to spend your 4th of July. Thank you so much for coming out and giving us these pointers, things that we need to remember for the 4th of July weekend. And, as we close today, we need to remember what the 4th of July really means. And I mean, it's a celebration of the United States Independence Day, but it's also a time to remember and acknowledge our military service members, past and present. They have fought for our freedoms, and our current serving members are also fighting for our freedoms. So from United Tribes Technical College family to yours, have a happy, safe, and healthy Independence Day.